how is it that every time I go on the Google machine and I look for DJ and look for DJs in the news, there's at least 3 or 4 stories of DJs doing horrible things.
That's because that's the most newsworthy thing.
Well, yeah, but why is?
But I mean, but have you
plumber
tried,
did this? Never comes really up.
Have you tried? What about lawyer?
Lawyer. Well, I
this.
suppose, but I haven't tried that. I mean,
what about
I
actor?
find out about our company, and rather what we do for a living.
Most news about actors, like drug overdose or another affair or another depraved behavior associated with actors.
Yeah, well, I suppose, yeah, but it's just.
I was researching a part.
DJ, and some of them are silly. Like this guy locked himself in a studio in Australia and played Last Christmas by Wham over and over and over until they drug him out. Okay.
Boy, now,
this is silly.
Now, see, we should call this angry DJs.
35-year-old DJ got his license impounded, his driver's license impounded.
I was thinking, there's a DJ license? Where's this? His license to DJ was taken away. You may no longer spin and mix.
And that was England and Australia. And then I read the ones in America are like the guy who the booby slapping DJ. He made news, and they still talk about that guy up on stage and whacked his wife's boobs around during a song by Phil Collins. I'm like, whatever, man.
Right.
And then this one came out at the beginning of January. DJ being held by Akron police for murder.
Wow.
It's a 64-year-old DJ.
Welcome to the Bill and Jason Show.
Yeah, I'm Bill Hermann. That's Jason Jones, and we have never killed anyone.
And this is the first story we've covered of a
DJ
murderer.
He was working at a bar on Triplet Boulevard in North Canton,
did he use
in
vinyl?
Akron, Ohio.
Did he use vinyl? Or
No.
This is
it's awful,
Ninja
man.
CD.
Somebody came in. Somebody who wasn't at the bar. A 35-year-old guy. This guy was 64. The DJ, 64 years old. The person who came in was like 35. Came into the bar and complained about the volume. Okay, he wasn't even at the bar. He's like a neighbor. Okay, complained about the volume. They got into it about it. Okay, and he left. The 34-year-old guy left. The 64-year-old guy, the DJ, followed in the street. The argument about the volume of the music. The
DJ was 64?
Yes, the DJ, 64. Follows the guy into the street because of this argument about the volume and how loud it was.
Definitely.
And how they should turn it down. And there was a fight, and the DJ threw 3 punches and killed the guy.
Was he a karate master?
Doesn't say that.
Did he watch a lot of old Elvis films?
Doesn't say that.
He killed the 35-year-old guy?
Hit him 3 times in the head, and he's dead.
Wow.
And they could have just said, the guy's name, which is Robert Jarvis. Instead, they say, DJ, fist fight over the volume at a bar called the Zodiac, which really, that just speaks to all the horrible murder movies I've ever seen.
That's a pickup. Zodiac, right. I didn't think about that. I was thinking more like, what's your sign? You look like a Sagittarius.
Well, it's one of the things, that we've, back in 20 years ago, 15 years ago, when I started an association and here in the Midwest area and associations around, one of the things we were always working on was elevating the disc jockey, elevating our profession. And it seemed that every time we got any kind of serious news, unless we created it, like, DJ starts new wedding business, and because we sent a press release, what we get is this horrible stuff all the time. DJ rips off people. DJ, murders a guy. DJ goes into high school and does nasty things. And it's like we want to elevate these things so that every time we see this kind of stuff, it's like, what again, man? Are you kidding me?
Well, you know what? Here is I have an idea. So one of the things is like to do things that are like if you're playing for a benefit, then publicize it. Like DJs don't think to send out, the ones that are doing their jobs and out doing their thing, they don't even think to send out a press release about publicity of something that they're doing or good that they're doing in the community. So organize something great in the community that is centered around what your contribution is, which
Right.
is making music and entertainment. You know, an idea that I got years ago that unfortunately fell apart. It was one of the sad failures in my past, but I still think it really has legs as a great idea, and that is to get together with a bunch of DJs. Usually, National Night Out is on a weeknight, so typically you're not booked unless you're doing club stuff.
Right,
But
right.
if you're mobile, you're probably going to be available. So get your association together, get your local chapter together, or just get a bunch of DJs together, and then offer, and then talk to the city, your city, and say, like, we want to provide music, mobile music, to people's block parties, and do as many as we can in a night, or however you want to configure it, right?
Right.
And then push the press on it. You could probably get a radio station that would help give away the parties to people's block parties.
Good idea.
To make it a thing. You get tons of publicity about it, and then there would be tons of like, look what the good DJs of our community are doing.
Yeah.
These are really great folks. And it's like, just take something like that where you like really can, really make a difference and make people happy, and by publicizing it and really bringing the media partners into it, then you're going to get a lot of value out of it promotionally, rather than like, well, I gave it all away and I got nothing. Which
DJ
is usually,
gets nothing.
is where-
Angry DJ now cuts party off. News at 11.
Ninja DJ throws old CDs at everyone, cuts their throats. It's horrible. Blood everywhere.
Yeah, well, and I know that part of this is the media, that nothing sells on the news better than let's
Bad
frighten
news.
you and scare you and talk about horrible stuff. I get that.
Yeah.
But it and oftentimes, you see stories like what I brought up, or even just the stories of, the DJ did something dumb, I know we all do dumb stuff. It's like we've all been there. It's when
Well, there's
I
a
think
dumb
one of the
arc.
things that's going to help our industry is when people start to look at what we do and start thinking of what we do in terms of appropriate or non-appropriate, or ethical or not ethical, or things that you probably you shouldn't do, but you did it anyway. I mean, one of the things when you first get into the DJ business, almost everybody got into it because beer and girls. I mean, honestly, you want to party. You don't want to go to college. You want to party, and you can get a loud sound system and party. And if you can get songs to play close enough together, it's like a mix. So
That's always a good place to start.
So right, exactly. So now you're getting paid a little bit to party for a living, and then all of a sudden, when that's too boring, and that can be really boring, just going from song to song, you try to entertain yourself doing things, and that's where sometimes DJs behaving badly can start, or your ego gets in the way. I mean, what do you think was? What
Are
was
you
the worst
diagnosing like psychotic DJs?
thing? Well, no, just not psychotic DJs, just people. It's just young people, young DJs, young people. I mean, did you ever do anything at a DJ party that you regretted? Now, I mean, at the time you probably went, "Hey, wait, I rock." But I mean, now that you look back at it, there's things that you did.
Yes.
And went, oh, like what?
Yes. Like
What's the worst thing? What's the worst thing? And if you had, and I'm putting you on the spot, so it's probably not going to be the worst thing you've come up with.
I
but-
had this great thing that I did at
was it?
every wedding, and it worked every time.
Okay.
All right.
What was it?
So if that's not a red flag, I don't know what is. Right. So I would play the song. I Knew the Bride When She Used to Rock and Roll.
Yeah, yeah, Nick
And then
Lowe, great song.
I'd have all the girls go out and dance with the bride for
Right.
that song, because at least I had the sense to temper that, instead of saying, all right, I'm gonna play the stripper. All right, girls, go on, let's all dance.
Well,
with the
remember
bride."
when she was
Right,
Because
because
you don't want to do that.
No, I had heard of a DJ that did that and played the stripper theme, and then invited everybody to dance, dance. Come on, rub up on them. This is your last chance. This is your last time.
Really?
Yeah, like do a striptease,
my
and
gosh,
encouraging
I
her
had
to
no
do a
idea.
stripper dance on all the groomsmen.
No idea that idea that I did those long years ago.
People are still
Wow,
doing
they're still
them,
talking
right?
about that anyway.
So then for the guy, I'm like, well, no holds barred on the groom. I said, I just figured it didn't matter. I didn't take into consideration shyness or anything at all. Nothing. I was like, all right, everyone, I'm going to reveal a secret. Like Bill here, if you were my groom, Bill here was actually, before getting married, he was a Chippendales dancer while he was out of town for that time. Yes, it's true. So being that he's going to be married now and he's giving that up, we presume we want to see his act one last time.
Yeah, that's
So
why I stopped doing it, is because I'm getting married now, not because people don't want to look at this anymore.
I played "I'm Too Sexy" by Right Said Fred, and I'd be like, "Come on!" And then of course the girls would come out and they start stuffing bills into his pants. Now, depending on how drunk the groom was in North Dakota when I would do these, would have been how far it would go. And so I had this guy that's like ripping off his clothes. He goes down to his underwear, and his dad, who's drunker than he is, that did want to be a part of the fun, runs out on the empty dance floor with him and pulls his pants down.
He pantsed him
down to the floor, and I'm up there going like, "Oh, this was not a good idea. This is not going well." And I was just like just ashamed of myself. At the end, I like kind of snuck out. "Good night, got my check. Good night. Good night.
Got my check.
See you. Bye. Bye."
Wow, that was great. Did that make the news?
It did not.
Then you're doing really well. Well done.
No, it was stayed a secret. But I did run into him years later.
Did you really?
Yes. And he was like, "Hey, you're my DJ." And I'm like, "Great." I
made like $10.
I didn't really remember him. He was like, "Yeah, he was like, yeah, you made me go out and dance to that." And I'm just like, "Yeah." And he's like, "That was great. I've been trying to refer you, but I couldn't find you." And I'm like, "Oh, gosh, thanks."
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So and I'm not throwing that in to like make me look good at the end.
No.
It was a bad idea.
Right.
And like since then, I'm like, a lot of ideas that I had in my early years of DJ, I have since went, with some training and development and to taste and decorum, realized that's probably not a good idea.
Yeah, no, I got it.
Yeah, but it was also North Dakota too, and that's where
What? Well, because that's the way North Dakota's. Anybody listening to North Dakota now, it like hates you.
No.
But it was North Dakota, so what's the big deal?
Well, no, I'll say the reason I say that is that one of the things that I got popular about hiring me to do, since it made any sense, is doing garter auctions. Because in North Dakota, garter auctions are a big deal, right?
They were, they used to be.
And
I don't know if they still are.
I don't know. I haven't been there in years, so I don't know if they still are or not. But anyway, I mean, it would be like, Graham would be like, "More leg, show us more leg, come on," because if the bidding slowed down, then she'd cover up her leg, and the faster it went, then she'd show off more leg. And this was a big deal. A big deal. It was expected. People would come with wads of ones. I would lose my voice in like 40 minutes of like, 41, and it's sold. Like, damn it! It's like, what? And they're waving their mind like, "Throw it in the hat if you want to give it to them." I'm done. I have no voice. I can't do this anymore. And I would just get like rowdy that way. And,
right.
But it was like, I could kind of do it auctioneer style.
Yes.
And they liked that, and that really worked. And when I came to Minnesota and started doing it here, I was like, and I can auction off your garter. And they're like, "Ugh." I'm like, "Oh." Well, I don't know. I didn't think it was so bad,
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. You get to you get to $3,000 and she throw in her underwear.
Yep. What?
Well, that's it for the show this week.
That's okay. I wish I could share something with you, but I got nothing. So, hey, if you'd like to leave some comments about how horrible that was that Jason would do anything like that, and knowing that Bill would never, of course, have anything he's in his past.
And if you really need to hear Bill's stories, we need to really see your comments below.
Right.
We really need to hear Bill share one of his regrettable things that he did in his past.
No, I have nothing. I regret nothing. I'm beautiful and wonderful.
Before he knew better or just made it out of the bar alive.
We'll see you next time on the Bill and Jason Show.
Broadcasting from high atop planet Earth at a rate of 96 kilobytes sampled per second over the interweb in an effort to stop glorifying being busy. This has been an entertainment experience production.